The Island of Sodor has many wonderful stories to tell. The best stories you hear are those about the many engines who work on Sodor's great railways. The most famous and industrial railway is the North Western. It's full of engines, big, small, fast, slow, you name it. All of them have different roles on the railway. They pull passengers, haul goods trains, and shunt trucks or coaches. There is a variation of steam engines and diesels. But the most famous engine you will ever see on the North Western Railway is the one and only Thomas the Tank Engine. Thomas is the number one on the railway. He runs his own branch line and has two faithful coaches called Annie and Clarabelle. Thomas also has many friends on the island of Sodor, such as Percy and Toby, who also work on his branch line. Thomas also does some shunting in a few yards from time to time. When he first came to Sodor, he only ever shunted in the yard at the big station. But after helping James from a nasty accident, that all changed. Thomas is also still cheeky to some of the big engines, particularly Gordon, the big express engine. It was the 1970s, and this story takes place in 1972. One day, Thomas was in the yard when he noticed Gordon resting in a siding. He crept up to him quietly and blew his whistle loudly. "Oh!" cried Gordon in shock. "Wake up, lazy bones," laughed Thomas. "Why don't you do some hard work for a change?" Gordon grunted loudly. "You little tank engines are very disruptive," he said with a big huff. "You should learn to show us big, strong engines more respect." Thomas snorted. "You big engines are the ones who need to treat tank engines with respect," he retorted. "After all, we fetch your trains for you so that you can do your work." "Pah!" scoffed Gordon. "Your work isn't even as important as my train, the Express. I am the fastest engine on the island for this job." "Ha!" replied Thomas cheekily. "I can go just as fast as you. I pull passengers all the time now. The Express would be no difficulty for me in the least." Gordon laughed. "You may have been pulling passengers now, little Thomas, but you wouldn't manage one piston with the Express. In fact, that piston would only pop if you tried." Suddenly, that gave Gordon an idea. Thomas was about to puff away when Gordon spoke up again. "Wait a minute," he said. "If you really want to prove how strong you are pulling the Express, why don't you take my next train?" Thomas wasn't sure. "If you don't want to try, I understand," teased Gordon. "You wouldn't even manage." Thomas couldn't let Gordon win. "I will!" he hissed. "I will try pulling the Express. I can be stronger. You'll see." "Very well then," replied Gordon. "Our next train is in an hour. Don't be late." Thomas puffed excitedly away. Later, he found Percy shunting at Tidmouth Yard. Thomas tooted to his friend. "Hello, Percy," he said. "Can you do me a favour?" "Of course, Thomas," replied Percy. "What is it?" "I'm going to pull the express instead of Gordon today," explained Thomas. "Could you take my next train on the branch line?" Percy was surprised. "I suppose," he chuffed, "but why are you pulling the express?" "To prove to Gordon that little engines can do big things. He thinks we can't do anything more than shunt in the yard." Percy thought that Thomas was making a silly mistake, but he was convinced by Thomas's reason. "All right, if you're sure. The big engines still need to learn to not look down on us anyway." "Thank you, Percy," said Thomas, and he puffed away. Later, Thomas arrived back at the big station. The express coaches had just been positioned at the platform. Thomas noticed this. "Gordon must have done this," he thought. "It's not like him to do a bit of shunting in the yard. And he says that tender engines don't shunt." Thomas laughed cheekily. Gordon had in fact shunted his own coaches to the platform, but not just to let Thomas continue to get ready for his challenge. He was playing a trick on him. Soon there would be trouble. When Thomas backed down onto the train, he tooted his whistle. "Get in quickly, please," he said. The passengers got in, the guard blew his whistle, and Thomas started off. His wheels spun, his pistons pumped, and he began to make steam. Thomas pulled as hard as he could, but he found the train rather difficult to get started. Come along, he puffed, but the coaches wouldn't move. Thomas tried pulling harder at a faster pace, but still nothing happened, so he stopped. Just then, Gordon pulled forward. "I thought you said this wouldn't be difficult, little Thomas," he rumbled. "Has the express turned out to be too heavy for you?" Thomas was cross. "No!" he hissed fiercely. "I can do it! I can be the stronger engine!" Thomas was puffing as hard as he could, but he still couldn't get the train to move. Then it happened. A piston had popped and steam bellowed from his safety valve. He couldn't move an inch. Gordon laughed loudly. "I knew you couldn't pull the train, little Thomas," he called. "I said you would pop a piston, but you just went ahead and embarrassed yourself anyway." Thomas was very cross. "What on earth is going on here?" A booming voice had sounded on the platform. It was the Fat Controller. "Thomas, why are you pulling the express instead of Gordon? And what is that truck doing at the back of the train?" "Truck, sir?" asked Thomas. He was confused. The station master walked up. "Gordon told me that the truck had been cleared to be put on the train and taken to Crovan's Gate, sir," he said. Gordon had told a lie to the station master. At the end of the train there was a heavy truck. It was filled with metal cargo. It was supposed to remain in the yard so that Henry could pick it up and take it to Crovan's Gate. Luckily, the express always goes to that station, but that wasn't the case. The truck made the train heavier. "I wanted Henry to pick up that truck." "Well, Gordon?" "I'm sorry, sir. I made that up so I could use the truck to stop Thomas from pulling the express." The Fat Controller was cross. Just then, the passengers erupted onto the platform, saying what a bad railway it was. "Try to control the passengers while I deal with the engines," he told the station master. "I am disappointed in you two for the trouble you have caused," he said to the engines. As a result, you must be punished for this. Both of you will stay in the shed for a week. Another engine will pull the express and another will do the work on the branch line. I expect you both to think about being a little more cooperative with each other. Yes, sir. Sorry, sir, replied the engines. Now, Gordon, take Thomas to the works to have his piston replaced. Then you will both go to the shed immediately and stay there. That evening, Gordon spoke to Thomas. I'm sorry for playing that dirty trick on you, Thomas, he said sadly. And I'm sorry for being so cheeky, replied Thomas. I don't think it really matters who is best at whichever job we do. What's important is that we do it right with pride. Gordon agreed. Perhaps you and I need to start getting along a little more, just like we used to some years ago. Thomas smiled. I would like that very much. Then the two engines went to sleep. After that moment, I'm sure that Thomas and Gordon will get along a little better. Aren't you?